Well, it's another episode of I don't know how to feel about this episode.
Ooh, that's a hot mug, guy.
Hey guys, this is my review for episode 3 of Supernatural Season 9. This is I'm No Angel. This is the episode that follows Castiel as he is now kind of grifting through, learning from other homeless communities while being hunted down by certain angel groups, one of them being a pretty big dickhead, who is using religious groups, who is helping find vessels for other angels. All the while, the brothers are trying to find out where Castiel is and following the trail of bodies that the angels are so very conveniently leaving for everyone to find, including ripping out the souls of priests and whatnot. I like some parts of this episode, and I didn't like other parts. Sam is doing better, but Ezekiel is definitely more willing to take over, and he's also kind of becoming a little bit more of a stone wall. We will see that slowly start to form into a form of distrust or conniving as the episode goes on, but it's a little subtle, which I'll give that. But we do also meet Bartholomew, the new big bad for the angels, and I swear to God, I thought this was Sam's old friend who had turned into a demon named Brady back in season 5. Like, they look really similar, but it's not the same guy. Bartholomew is using this online pastor, to help find vessels for angels. Man, it is so on the nose with what they're doing with this guy, and just the idea of religion being used as a means to take advantage of people and ruin their lives. And while this is going on, Castiel is, like I said, trying to figure out how to be human, and he is kind of doing well, but he's also running into human inconveniences.
Do you ever tire of urinating? Sleep or passing gas? It's all very strange. And it's occurred to me that one day I'm gonna die.
After the first place he leaves and the priests get killed, Sam and Dean go there and they find out that he's going by the name of Clarence. Sam is the one who points this out, yet Dean has no idea what he's talking about. It's a Wonderful Life, quite literally one of the most well-known Christmas movies of all time in the pop culture zeitgeist, and Dean doesn't know what that is. Again, going back to my complaint about this show, is that it really did switch who was the pop culture know-it-all. Whenever Dean would do it, he would be like, here, ha. Whenever Sam would do it, Dean would be like, oh, nerd. And here he just doesn't know. It's so weird. It's like they like to switch it for the convenience of a low-hanging joke. I don't like when they do this. Now we come to a issue that I am now starting to see. People were saying that Jeremy Carver did break the lore, and he's already done it again now with Reapers, because apparently they can be hired to track angels, and there's some sort of...
That's the rumor.
And are willing to freelance for a price.
It's never explained. It's just said. It's just like, oh, you cut away from that. I wonder why. So apparently you can hire Reapers, find out where angels are, and then they can help kill them and whatnot. It is so beyond what has been established about Reapers. It makes the previous lore break with the whole, oh yeah, there's been this secret door into hell through purgatory this whole time thing seem like a leap. So while the angels are using Reapers to hunt Castiel and the boys are trying to find Castiel, Castiel apparently bumps into the nicest person ever. I can't imagine anyone being this nice to any homeless person in Vancouver. Damn, lady. She just kind of moves in real quick. It almost makes you think about Castiel's wife. You remember her? Ah, don't worry, no one else does. I actually am only remembering it because of this joke. But it actually turns out that this lady isn't as nice as she appears. She actually is, in fact, a Reaper, and she starts to torture Castiel to figure out information for Bartholomew. Dean is at wit's end with trying to figure out what Castiel is, so he asks Zeke pretty openly to help him find him and to help him find Reapers and whatnot to track him down, because the Reaper that they tortured earlier, who they just kill him, wasn't that, kind of a big deal when that happened? So Ezekiel basically uses a plot convenience power to find them. She immediately kills Castiel and basically whips the two boys against the wall. Don't worry, she's really stupid. She goes from an Elden Ring villain to an apprentice level difficulty dumbass, and Dean is able to easily kill her. And then comes a genuine scare for a minute that Castiel is actually dead, until one of the largest reaches this show has ever done happens. Ezekiel takes control of Sam, heals Castiel, but how do they explain this? The worst way possible.
Well, you got dinged. I made a deal with her. Said she wouldn't get kebabbed if she brought you back.
You lied.
I did.
This is the dumbest thing I have ever seen.
literally, you can see the evidence of this lie. Within 3 episodes, this entire story with Zeke's secrecy has completely fallen apart. This is ridiculous. However, the episode does end with a kind of a ooh note of when they get back to the hideout, Zeke is immediately going, he can't stay here. He has the entire angel army on him. If they're coming for him, they're not going to take any mercy on me. It's either I leave or he leaves. All the while, you watching this, you're kind of like, yeah, that's a pretty big me or the highway kind of thing that you're very subtly disguising there. I actually liked when that was introduced because it made me immediately on the fence about Zeke. And Dean is just like, I gotta protect Sam. So it ends with Dean telling Castiel that he has to go. Overall, this episode has a lot of decent bits to it, but it also has a lot of fucking reaches with it. A cool villain setup, thank God. We're using a pretty evil way to do so, but then we have a massive lore break. But then we also have Cass going through a pretty cool human story with his homelessness, as well as trying to help people, but also learn more about his own life and what it's like to be human. But then we have a massive amount of plot conveniences, including his resurrection. But then it ends with this cool little note of Zeke being like, it's either me or it's him, setting up multiple things, a falling out with Castiel, and a building conspiracy of what Zeke's actual intentions are. So in the end, I'm going to be a little bit lenient and I'm going to give this episode a 4 out of 7. It's a reach for me, admittedly, but I like some aspects to it. There's some decent jokes in here. There's some pretty cool action stuff in here. There's a lot of real dumb shit in here too, but it doesn't make the episode a negative for it. Anyways, guys, those are my thoughts. Very curious to see what you guys have to say. Let's see what you guys have to say. Okay, usually I go in order, but Hollow Man had one here that was so funny I had to start with it. God damn. So are we just going to watch Cass be the dumbest man in the series for 18 episodes? Is that the plot of this season? Cass is dumb and has no survival instincts. I thought he was turned human, but onto a wallflower. Man, what a dull season. This is definitely the beginning of a feeling I remember for not liking Castiel. But then we have a positive one from Patrick here. I love Castiel's human arc. I love watching him struggle and adjust to a weakened state and seeing him grow and learn. It is so satisfying. There's also much needed redemption arc that not just for Cass for the last 2 episodes of the season, but also all the 6, which is long overdue, and Cass actually comes out looking the greater. This is also the only well-written arc for this entire season. Oh dear. If Cass isn't your favorite character and you hate him, then this season just became an even more unbearable kind of hell. Oh god. One thing about this episode I didn't like and felt out of character was Dean kicking Cass out and not being honest for the reasons. Dean spent more time in purgatory that was needed to save Cass, who was still mad, so he clearly trusts him. Now I know why Ezekiel didn't want Cass around, but again, Dean could have just told Cass that he would have understood and backed off. And Cass couldn't heal Sam with no grace, and he was the one to give Dean the green light on Zeke to Dean. And given Castiel's reputation, it's understandable that no angel would want him around, and doing so put Sam at risk. I just felt that the writers made Dean unnecessarily cold for no reason other than pointless drama. That actually does make sense, because he should know that Zeke is in Sam. He actually never made a mention about that in this whole episode when they met up. So yeah, you're pointing out something pretty smart. He would have been fine with it. I'm No Angel hits hard when you realize Misha Collins was once homeless. His betrayal of humanity is instantly indefinable. You could say April taking pity on Cass and having a romantic relation feels rushed, but it makes sense when you realize an angel possessed her. Was it an angel or was it a reaper? I thought she was a reaper. This season makes Dean's relationship with everyone turn sour, especially with kicking Castiel out of the bunker. It was interesting seeing Castiel be human and learning to struggle. To me, I think it did change him and taught him a lesson. As for the new leader of the Angels, Bartholomew, I really didn't like him. He was another version of Raphael, but not as memorable. I love that Castiel uses the name Meg, called him for cover for Clarence. Yes, exactly. And Dean would have heard that too. He would have heard her call him Clarence. Situation with April the Reaper. See, yeah, I thought she was a Reaper. I really didn't like Dean's antenna. Should have been way up when Gladriel told him to kick Castiel out. Or sorry, isn't it Zeke or whichever, from the bunker. I was so disappointed in Dean to do that for Cass after everything he went through in this episode. Yeah, okay. Maybe giving it a 4 was a bit too nice. All right, guys, that was episode 3. Now we head into Slumber Party number 4. So make sure to give me your guys' comments about that episode, and I will read those off in the next review. Until then, guys, I hope you're enjoying the reviews, and I will see you guys on the next one.